Idris Elba plays a genie in a bottle, and you've got to rub him the right way, honey, because he's a genie in the bottle, baby. So come on in, let him out. Hi, I'm John Stark from MPAA.com, and this is my review of 3,000 Years of Longing. I got through that with a straight face. I really didn't think I was going to, but when you have a literal genie in a bottle, how do you not open with the lyrics to Genie in a Bottle? Like, oh, yeah. I'm a blind film critic. I review films with audio description. This has audio description. I rented it from iTunes. It was, for some reason, cheaper than other films. It was like a bargain, but it wasn't on sale. It was just cheaper. It wasn't like one of their 99-cent films. It just, the rental just wasn't the same price as everything else. It was like they're really trying to get people to watch this George Miller film. Okay. Yeah, and I kept thinking this thing's fucking going to Amazon. This is an MGM film. But then Amazon just, nope. It's like, what is taking you so long to put this film? This film made like $5 million at the box office. Why is it taking so long to hit Amazon? But yeah, I just went ahead and did it. So we can get the review over with. Everybody's dropping top 10 lists nowadays. I'm still trying to catch up because I don't get screener copies. So I'm sorry. My top 10 lists will come after everybody else's. I have to catch up on films. So yeah. So this is 3,000 Years of Longing, which is basically just, I don't even know. I don't know what do you talk about here? Like, where do you go with this film? So George Miller directs Mad Max Fury Road, and then he's like, you know what I want to do? I just want to put like Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton in a room together and have them talk. But I don't want it to be boring. So how do I make it not boring? Oh, he'll be a genie. And then and then he talks about his like all of the previous owners who have rubbed his bottle and who have released him, so to speak. I'm gonna make this one sound real tawdry real fast. And Tilda's very interested in this because she's I think she might be the one experiencing the 3,000 years of longing. But yeah, she listens to, and we get the backstories of all the other people that have had wishes and how they've used them and how things have gone horribly wrong, and how, Idris Elba is still just a djinn in a bottle, and he just needs, he needs her to do the 3 wishes so he can go about his life and go back to being a djinn. Yeah, same rules as usual. Can't wish for more wishes. Can't wish for immortality. Can't wish for like world peace, and I don't know, something like. There's like a couple of rules, but she doesn't want to wish. She just wants to have a talk. She just wants to sit down and talk. She's worried that he's a trickster, and that by wishing for something, that she'll get the opposite of it, which is, it's valid. I mean, she doesn't know if she's ever had a friend like him before. Oh, that's another solid Genie reference. I am killing the game. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't talk about Alibaba and his 40 Thieves. Or anyway. And I'm silly. I'm having really a lot of fun with this review. And they just talk. That's all it is. It's just talking. But like slowly they connect. And it's a very weird film. It's a very weird film. I guess that's what makes it a George Miller film, is that it's quirky. it's not. It'd be weirder if like George Miller directed like Downton Abbey, you know, like that was his next film. It was just straightforward Downton Abbey, and you're like, what? What do you? This is George Miller? Like for some reason, Babe, Pig in the City feels weird for him. You know, like you're looking at his resume, and you're like, the guy who did Mad Max did Babe, Pig in the City. It's bizarre. But yeah, I think he just doesn't like to be constrained to being the Mad Max guy. So he tries to do these other things, but these other things don't always necessarily work very well. I mean, I know Babe Pig in the City has like fans, like it got good reviews. It's not Babe though. Like it's not Babe. And this is interesting at times. I was interested. I was like, oh, this is cool. It's got some cool thoughts and some cool concepts. The audio description here is really solid. Laura Post is the primary narrator here, and I think Jedi Barton is the other one when they need a male voice. Some of the stuff needs to be translated. Some of the dialogue is not in the English language, so I'm guessing we got subtitles. So they do have a male voice coming in for male characters. So this one technically is listed as having two narrators, but the primary narration is done by Laura, who does the female voice and the actions, whatever you want to call them. And the film just evolves these two characters, and you know, where are they going to go with their lives? Is she ever going to make a wish? Is she going to wish to set him free? Is she going to wish to, you know, get him in the bedroom, whatever? You know, I mean, lots of things. There are lots of possibilities of the direction. When you get to a certain point, you're like, "Ooh, where is this film going? Is this a romance? It's a weird film." And a lot of magic sort of happens, like with dark clouds and swirls. It's very imaginative with what Idris's Genie can do. Where he's also, the description of his character, his ears are different. He's also not of normal size when he first pops in, and has to, like, you know, fit to the size of the room instead of sort of like how Genie in Aladdin is considerably larger at sometimes than he is in other scenes. Yeah, so they kind of touch on that too. And it's good to have the audio description for that kind of stuff so that we can get the magical parts out. There's also just some weird things that happen in some of his stories. There was like a creature that was like a spider, and then it turned into like a bunch of other insects. That was creepy, but nice to have the audio description for. And that's kind of 3,000 Years of Longing. I mean, I don't want to spoil it because you might want to see it. I feel like if you had wanted to see it, you would have seen it by now, but who knows? Maybe down the line, a year from now, you'll be like, hey, remember there was a review of that, and he was all right on it. He didn't tell me not to see it. I'm also not telling you to see it. I'm not trying to be like, yes, run out and see this film. I think what this film has going for it is the fact that George Miller is a good director. So he's able to capture certain things that make the film interesting. The film itself, under a different director, probably would have failed. But he has an understanding of how to make this film interesting. And then on top of that, he's also got Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton, who are two terrific actors, sharing scenes and talking back and forth, basically, so that way the scenes always work, because these are two people who can act and can act their faces off. So, those are kind of the aspects that make it work. The film itself can feel tedious. It feels way longer than it needs to be. It's not even 2 hours. This film needed to be under 90 minutes. I can tell George Miller right away I would have chopped 15 minutes out of this film, because the way that he's approaching it, it just feels kind of repetitive, and it feels like, how many stories do we need? to get to your end result. When I see what he wants to do by the end of the film, I'm not sure I needed all of the stories. I'm not sure I needed so much background from Idris Elba. So, yeah, I think this is an under 90-minute film that for some reason is like an hour and 48, I think. If I remember, I think I'm right on that. So yeah, it's got a runtime issue. It feels longer than it needs to without actually being that long of a film, too. That's when you're under 2 hours and you feel long. It's a pacing issue. Sometimes it's unavoidable with 3-hour films because people just feel it. You feel it sitting in your chair. You feel it when you need to use the bathroom. There are other aspects that will remind you a 3-hour film is a 3-hour film. Most of us can make it through an hour and 48-minute film, no problem. If the film is interesting for an hour and 48 minutes, this film can be a little tedious. So, yeah. Yeah, it's got some cool stuff. It's got some not cool stuff. So, I don't know. But the audio description, I'm just, super grateful to have it. And it did some great work with the mystical magic and the dark clouds that come in and out of his ears, and it's very weird. I'm sure this looks trippy for those who can see, who are also watching my channel. I'm sure this looks like, whatever. I don't know why this didn't make the short list for visual effects, because there's some stuff in here that's described to me, and I'm just like, I'm guessing maybe they just didn't pay the top visual effects team, and maybe it just looks wonky. But the stuff that's being described to me is the kind of stuff that I would be like, why are we not nominating this film for best visual effects? So, yeah. But I'm going to give 3,000 Years of Longing a C+. That's a small thumbs up, and mostly because I think there's enough here for someone to enjoy it in a slight way. If you're out there and you're looking for something to choose, and then you come across this and you want to pick it, then pick it. I don't think you're gonna love it. It's not gonna be your best film of 2022. I don't think this was anybody's best film of 2022, unless it was the only film they saw. So, there's that. So reason why it's not showing up on any lists, even with George Miller, Tilda Swinton, and Idris Elba. It's not that Hollywood doesn't love them, but there are reasons, and you'll find out when you watch 3,000 Years of Longing. Just subscribe. I want to keep talking about films and keep talking about films with audio description and keep doing weird things like singing Genie in a bottle to you at the beginning of I didn't really sing it. I spoke it emphatically at the top of my review. So I want to keep doing things like that to keep it interesting. Because I got the jokes. They're free. The jokes are free. I don't charge for the jokes. My whole channel's free, actually. So why aren't you subscribing? You can also go to my website, macthemovieguy.com. You can go to Twitter and follow me there at macthemovieguy.com, depending on, your personal relationship with Elon Musk at this point. You can go to Instagram and follow me at Instagram at macthemovieguy. You can go to the Audio Description Project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the adna.org. That's the adna.org. It'll let you know who is working on the audio description for your favorite movies, sort of like Laura Post and Jedediah Barton, two people who you can look up and see the long list of credits they have. That's it for me today. I will review something else for you guys and see you on the other side.